Hi guys, my name is Jerico Aguirre, and for today's video I will discuss the part 4, which is the operating systems. So a program known as an operating system governs the executions of programs and serves as an interface between computer users and hardware. The operating system, or also known as OS, manage all of the software and hardware on the computer. It performs basic tasks such as file, memory, and process management, handling input and output, and controlling peripheral devices such as disk drives and printers. So let's go to the topics. First is the wait, operating system. So operating system, a boot programs load the operating system, or OS, which controls all other software and apps in the computer. It makes it possible for software to communicate with the hardware on computer. The application programs seek services from the operating system using a specific application program interface, or API. The essential elements of the operating system are included in the software known as the kernel. Every computer must have at least one installed operating system in order to run other programs. So here's the flow. Uh, First is user, next application, next operating system, and hardware. So iikot lang siya. And operating system, Windows, Linux, and Android are example of operating systems that able the user to use program like Office, Notepad, and games on the computer or mobile phone. It is necessary to have at least one operating system installed in the computer to run basic programs like browsers. And that's the operating system. So next is the history of operating system. The first computer Z1 was made in 1936 to 1938. Unfortunately, this computer ran without an operating system. 20 years later, the first ever operating system was made in 1956. In the 1960s, Bell Labs started working on building Unix, the first multitasking operating system. In 1977, the Apple series came into existence. Apple DOS 3.3 was the first disk operating system. In 1981, Microsoft built the first operating system called DOS, or DOS, by purchasing 86 DOS software from a settled company. The most famous Microsoft Windows came into existence in 1985 when DOS or DOS was paired with GUI and graphics environment. So functions of operating system. So here's the processor management, memory management, device management, file management, security, error detection, job scheduling, and that's the functions of the operating systems. So next is the features of operating system. Here is the list of some important features of operating systems. First is provides a platform for running applications. Second, handles memory management and CPU scheduling. Third is provides file system abstractions. Fourth, provides networking support. Fifth, provides security features. And Next is the provides user interface, provides utilities and system services, and last is support application development. Component of operating system. Now to perform the function mentioned above, the operating system has two components. First is the shell, and next is the kernel. Shell handles user interactions. It is outmost layer of the OS and manage the interaction between user and operating system by prompting the user to give input and interpreting the, the input for the operating system. And next is handling the output from the operating system. Shell provides a way to communicate with the OS by either taking the input from the user or the shell script, and it has a sequence of system commands that are stored in a file. So next is last is the types of operating systems. So type operating systems, there are several different types of operating systems present in this section. We will discuss the advantages and disadvantages of these types of OS. First is the batch OS. Batch OS is the first operating system for second generation computers. This OS does not directly interact with the computer. Instead, an operator takes up similar jobs and groups them together into a batch. And then these batches are execute one by one based on the first come, first serve principle. The advantages of batch OS execution time taken for similar jobs is higher. So multiple users can share batch systems. And disadvantages of OS or the batch OS, it is hard to debug batch systems. If job fails, then the other jobs have to wait for unknown time till the issue is resolved. So the examples of the batch OS, here's the payroll system, bank statements, data entry, and etc. Next is the distributed OS. Is a dito advancement in the field of computer technology, and it is utilized all over the world that too with a great pace. In the distributed OS, various computers are connected through a single communication channel. These independent computers have their own memory unit and CPU and are known as loosely coupled systems. So the advantages of distributed OS: failure of one system will not affect the other system because all the computers are independent of each other. The load on the host system is reduced. The size of the network is easily scalable as many computers can be added to the network. And the disadvantages of distributed OS, the setup cost is high. Software use for such system is highly complex. And